It is that time you have all been waiting for when Saagar and I reveal Rising's official winners and losers for the week. Saagar, who's your loser?
Okay, let's start with the loser. I just want to pick up something I talked about yesterday, but it is Americans under the age of 30, and it's really something I've been thinking about a lot, which is just the absolute economic destruction which is happening within their lives, the lack of opportunity that so many young graduates have whenever they're coming out. I mean, if you're trying to re-enter the economy this year, you don't even, what are you supposed to do? You're sitting at home trying to take classes on Zoom, but it's not just them. It's the younger working class Americans who have no ability to even begin a career, accumulate any wealth whatsoever. Maybe even their parents have lost their jobs at this point. So everybody's trying to collectively bring, wages together. 52% of younger Americans are living at home with their parents, the highest proportion since the Great Depression here in the United States. But it's not just them too. I also think about the school kids. I've been seeing a lot of, I don't have kids, but I'm looking at Twitter and I see these photos of 3 or 4-year-olds trying to learn how to read on Zoom. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. It's just not. And if that had happened to me, my mom would have figured something out and she would have taught me how to read. But what about the people whose moms can't figure something out and have to go to work?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Where are they Zooming? How are they going to read? You can't ever bring back those years, the most critical years of your entire life. Lack of socialization, lack of being able to read. I mean, the social and economic destruction at the very heart of our future, it just kills me.
And it sets you back. It changes your trajectory for your entire life. I mean, if you're that kid who's, I think about that too. I mean, kids who are in those critical early math, early reading skills development, you don't get those years back. And so their life trajectory has changed. And then people who are coming into the workforce or who've been in the workforce for a couple of years and have just gotten hit and hit and hit, that affects your entire life trajectory too. You don't get that back. The wealth and the head start, they've done these studies, even if it's just a moderate change in the economy that you enter the workforce into, it changes your entire income and life trajectory. Yeah. So that is absolutely the case. My political loser this week is Donald Trump. Look, a couple things. I mean, first of all, there was some thought after the RNC convention and with unrest in the streets that, maybe he's going to stage a comeback. Then we learned not only is he running low on money because he spent on ridiculous things, almost $1 billion on $1 million on DC advertising. Right. No one, what are you doing spending money on advertising in DC? 11 million on Super Bowl ads. You spent all this money and you're behind. And then, of course, we get the Bob Woodward book, which is the first Trump book that may actually matter. Not that I think that it's going to dramatically change the trajectory, but number one, it has completely shifted the conversation back to what is his absolutely weakest spot, and which is the thing that people are really voting on, which is his failed handling of the coronavirus back in February. And it answered a question that I think was lingering out there, which was did he really not totally understand the threat of coronavirus and wanted in his own mind to downplay it? Or did he know and just straight up lie to the American people? And now we know without a doubt that that is the case. And that is incredibly damning.
No, it's just ridiculous. And the state of the campaign couldn't be worse. I mean, we covered it here on the show. Biden is out there openly lying about NAFTA and China. It doesn't matter. You're barely going to hear it from the Trump campaign. None of it really all matters.
They can't communicate it because they pulled all their ads. They don't have any money.
Maybe we'll hear about it here in D.C. whenever they play ads for our...
Right, we'll hear about it. Who's your winner for the week, Saagar?
Okay, my winner for the week, this is another depressing one, is The War Machine. Today is September 11th, 2001. Remember so many of those who were killed on that day. But I also think about so many of the thousands of American soldiers who died in these wars for no reason. And it really used to hit home for me when I was a Pentagon correspondent. I had to start writing the obituaries of kids who were younger than me, who were 18 or 19 had stepped on an IED in Afghanistan. And I was like, why? For what? And yeah, they're the ones who won. They're the ones who, even today, 19 years later, still in Afghanistan. Biden might be president. He's not going to plan, no plan. Luckily, I mean, just yesterday, the Trump administration officially nominated the first U.S. ambassador to Afghanistan who wants to pull troops out. But What faith do we have?
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to have faith. And in fact, Biden goes out there and says, you know, actually, we should probably expand the military budget more. He's not even, I guess maybe points for honesty, he's not even pretending that we're going to bring all the troops home from the Middle East. So I think that is incredibly, I mean, it's just what we've seen over and over again, election after election, is no matter who we elect, no matter what they say on the campaign trail, you get basically the same military-industrial complex people running the show.
Yeah. Who's your winner?
My winner is the Sunrise Movement. So this week we covered it here on the show. There were huge wins in the Rhode Island state legislature. Now, why should you care about that? Well, because there was a really unique model there of Bernie Sanders type left progressives banding together in a cooperative and ousting 8 different incumbents in the Rhode Island, all in one fell swoop in their first cycle. And Sunrise was integral to that, providing the boots on the ground. And in these state house primaries and local races, you can win with a few thousand votes. Yeah. So that type of shoe leather, I mean, it builds a bench, it builds a progressive ecosystem, it builds a structure, and they also were obviously integral in Ed Markey being able to hold on to his seat. That was one of their big high priority wins. So you really see them rising as a force, a political force to be reckoned with. And by the way, a very savvy one to be reckoned with across the country. And at the same time, we see with these unbelievable wildfires on the West Coast, record-breaking, the destruction, lives lost, like things at towns that are just completely decimated that we've never seen before. We see how critical their message is and their fight to be able to protect the planet and make sure that it is actually livable for themselves and for the next generation. So kudos to them for a really effective political strategy that I think we're going to be seeing more of in states to come. Absolutely.
They really deserve credit for that small scale. You start on the local, you branch out, you build a base. That's how real change, political change happens here in America.
All right, next week on Rising, friend of the show and executive editor of the American Prospect, David Dayen's going to share his reporting on what to expect post-election amid the pandemic. A little bit of a wake-up call there. And Washington Post economics reporter Jeffrey Stein is going to be back for the latest on stimulus negotiations or lack thereof.
That's right. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos, and don't forget to like and share as well. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Have a great day. Have a great weekend, guys.
Not tomorrow.